Welcome back to Check Out the Stat by your girl, Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby. I know y'all are seeing another new location. We're testing it out, seeing what we like. So in the comments down below, let me know what location you guys like, whether it be the first one, the second one at the other studio I went to, or this one. So today we talking WNBA playoffs, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what is going on with Cardi B and her baby daddy. So before we get started, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. With Underdog, you can earn money by making picks on all of your favorite players. You can try the app in California, Texas, and New York, and the list goes on. If you want to play along, go download Underdog, use code STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, y'all, $1,000 with your first deposit. And this week, there's 2 free picks for all customers. There's a Patrick Mahomes free pick. All he needs is 1 yard for an easy W on your first cash entry. So let's do our Underdog picks on Sunday. The Bills will play the Ravens. Underdog has Josh Allen at 228.5 passing yards. So against the Jaguars, he had 263 passing yards, and it has been lower in previous games. I think the Ravens are going to be a lot more difficult than Jacksonville, so I'm actually going to go lower. Underdog has Lamar Jackson at 57.5 rushing yards. Y'all already know that boy be running. It's going to be harder to pass, and the Bills are going to try to shut that down. But that don't mean Josh Allen ain't going to try. So I'm going to go higher for this one. And then Underdog has Derrick Henry at 77.5 rushing and receiving yards. So fun fact, he hasn't had lower than 80 yards since game 1 versus the Chiefs. So for this pick, I'm going to go higher. So make sure you guys all download the Underdog app. Like I said, you get a free pick, and let me know what picks y'all got. Okay, so let's start with the WNBA. Previously, I called this segment What's New in the W. And there's a lot new going on right now. So we're going to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's start with the good. It's WNBA playoff time. And like we always say, defense wins championships, and that's working for the W as well. The top 4 defensive teams moved on to round 2, which is the Minnesota Lynx, the Suns, the Aces, and the Liberty. So let's just do a quick little recap of the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, the first round goes best of 3. We're going to talk about the Fever. They got knocked out by the Suns. You know, the Fever put up a good fight, but all these teams, it just wasn't up to par. All the teams got swept in the first 2 games. The game leader for that was Alyssa Thomas on the Connecticut Suns. And honestly, I'm liking that team a lot. They have a great core. They have good chemistry. And they've been playing pretty well throughout the season. So they might be my little pick. We're going to see what happens. The Lynx got eliminated by the Mercury. Napheesa Collier during the first round. She became the first ever WNBA player to average 40-plus points in any round of the WNBA playoffs. So she had 40 points, 64% for the field, 62% from the 3. She's been playing like a beast, and she is going to be the game changer for that team. But again, round 2, anything can happen. We'll see if she can keep up that momentum. Then we got the Liberty. They eliminated the Atlanta Dream. Again, the Atlanta Dream tried to put up a big fight, but we already know how the Liberty is. They are a title contender. They are a good team. Sabrina Ionescu, she is great on the court. Breanna Stewart, we already know that Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson matchup is going to be crazy in round 2, so I'm excited to see what happens. And then we got the Aces eliminating the Seattle Storm. Of course, A'ja Wilson is a beast on the court. Like I've been saying continuously, this is her year, and so I definitely think they're going to go for that 3-peat. So moving along to the semifinals, the one that I'm most excited to see is the Liberty versus Aces. This is a matchup that we have seen before. The Liberty has remained at the top spot throughout the entire year, and the Aces were slacking a little bit, but they got their momentum back. Do we think the Aces can 3-peat? Okay, they won their first ever chip in 2022, back-to-back champs 2023. I think 2024 would really seal the deal. Same way the Chiefs are trying to get it. So the Liberty, fun fact, is the lone original WNBA franchise that has yet to win a championship. So you think that this would force them to kind of put their foot on the gas, but the Aces are not an easy team to beat. So, and same type of thing that Mase has been saying. He said NY means next year. I would hope it would be the Liberty's year this year, but you just never know. Okay, so we talked about the good. Now let's talk about the bad. And I'm only going to just talk about one bad thing that I think a lot of people are, differentiating about. So the Chicago Sky fires their head coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, after one season. So in her first year as the coach, she led the Sky to a 13-27 record, resulting in the franchise's first missed postseason since 2018. I would just tell you right now, the WNBA is way too cutthroat for me because I feel like after one season, they didn't even give Teresa time to cook. She had a lot of odds against her. Like the Sky already traded Kalia Copper before she even coached a game. Money Mabry, the shooter, she's one of the best shooters in the league. She was tossed away in the middle of the season. Angel Reese had a season-ending wrist injury. You can't do anything about that. And even Kennedy Carter, she missed a lot of the playoffs due to injuries. So what could Teresa really do? And I know we're expecting wins, right? But you have to give her that opportunity to be able to build with her team to cook. She had a great relationship with Angel Reese. At the end of the day, regardless of how you feel about stats, Angel is that star player, and a lot of people are going to come to see Angel. If Angel's not happy with whoever's next, I could see a very rocky relationship between the Sky organization and Angel Reese, which isn't going to be good for the game. But the big argument is that Teresa wasn't that good with rotation. People felt like she kept giving Angel Reese more minutes so she could break her rebounds record. Again, however way you feel, this is Angel's first season in the league with the big dogs. Teresa's just coaching again. Like I said, a lot of the odds were against her, so I felt like they could have at least given her another season to pick things back up. So when hearing that Teresa was fired, Angel tweeted her support, saying she is heartbroken. She said, "I'm literally at a loss for words knowing what this woman meant to me in such a pivotal point in my life. She was the only person that believed in me, the one that trusted me. Many don't even know what it's like to be a Black woman in sports when nobody believes in you." Strong statement from Angel Reese. Hopefully she'll be able to push through with whoever her new coach is, but I do think that they should have given Teresa a little bit more time. Okay, so now let's get into the ugly. This is a big chunk because the WNBA has gotten real ugly against the players' odds, okay? It's the people who are watching. Because my problem is, so you like the WNBA, but you don't like the women playing. And you only like the women playing if it's Caitlin Clark and sometimes Angel Reese. It's a lot of back and forth. So what's going on here in the WNBA? It's really the fans. And I do this with the fans because they're not really fans. We'll talk about what Caitlin Clark had to say about it in a moment. But there's a lot of racism, sexism, death threats, and a whole bunch of homophobic comments. And it's wrong. First of all, a lot of the league is Black women, so racism comments don't make a lot of sense. And then homophobic comments also make no sense because a lot of these women's partners are other women. So how you gonna hate the players playing the game that y'all so-called love to watch? So let's start here. WNBA's most improved player for this season was Dejanay Carrington. And you would think this would be a celebration, but it ended up being a knock to her and her character. I'm going to put it up on the screen, but there's a lot of nasty things that people have said. So, for example, there's a tweet that says, "In any event, she is the new face of the WNBA, unprofessional, disrespectful, and unworthy." Considering Dejanay's stats, unworthy is crazy, unprofessional is crazy, and all of the word choices that you guys have said are crazy because we already know that the WNBA is a physical league. These girls aren't going nice on each other, and they're not purposely trying to hurt each other. So this narrative that Dejanay is this bad guy Same thing y'all did with Kennedy Carter or anybody who was a little bit more physical is wrong. Now, I do understand some things have happened that have kind of pushed the envelope, but Dejanay, I feel like, is not purposely trying to do that. She's just trying to be the best player that she can be. So, in the comments, and mind you, this is just the stuff I've seen on Twitter. At the games, people have talked about a lot of nasty comments they've seen, and a lot of people are saying things on their podcast, tweeting, Instagram posts, all the above. This is just one simple thread, and let me read you what some of the things people had to say. One guy said, they deserve to go back to not making any money and leeching off the NBA. Paid street trash. You can take a girl out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the girl. And her eyelashes look stupid. So, of course, when you hear hate comments like that constantly, I know Dejanay is going to do her thing, but it does get to you because nobody signed up to be criticized like this, right? We used to criticize players about their game and what was going on the court, but because women are the forefront, obviously, of the WNBA, y'all want to come for not just people's game. You want to come for how they look, how they act, a whole bunch of things that are irrelevant to the game that we're watching, right? So the Connecticut Sun coach had something to say, and she said, we in the media have to do a better job of not allowing trolls in social media to become the story. I feel like we have allowed trolls in social media to frame the narrative of what the story is, and it's unacceptable. Granted, I am the media, and I do not want trolls to be the forefront of the story, but I think we have to address what's wrong to find a solution so we can move on from this. So, of course, the WNBA had to come out and make a statement addressing the issues. The WNBA said, the WNBA is a competitive league with some of the most elite athletes in the world. While we welcome a growing fan base, the WNBA will not tolerate racist, derogatory, or threatening comments made about players, teams, and anyone affiliated with the league. League security is actively monitoring threat-related activity and will work directly with teams and arenas to take appropriate measures. Said a couple more things, but the problem with that is that this has been happening throughout all of the season. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, I didn't like what she had to say when she had a platform to talk about all the bad things that were happening in the league. Instead, she said it fuels a fire and it makes people watch. I just don't think it's entertainment to make fun of people and make them feel bad about who they are, especially women, okay? Like, we're at a very sensitive era right now because everybody feels the need to have their voice heard. But if it's constantly negative, why do you feel the need to say something about how somebody looks and what they got to say, how they talk, how they wear their hair, how they dress, how they do their makeup? Because nobody is getting on, other people about that. But when it comes to the W, somebody always got something to say. So an interesting quote by analyst Nick Wright, he said he believes some of these fans are pretending to be Caitlin Clark supporters in order to spew hate against Black women. He said, you've got this boatload of new fans because of Caitlin Clark, but unfortunately and inevitably, and the league should have seen this train coming down the tracks on that bandwagon, were folks that weren't fans of basketball. They weren't even actual fans of Caitlin Clark. They were fans of what they thought Caitlin Clark could present, which was the humbling of Black women. And you've got this cavalcade of open, unabashed racists who tried to put a hood of Caitlin Clark fandom on, and social internet and last night in person tried their best to terrorize her opposition. That's a strong quote. He said a lot right there. And it's so crazy because people who are newer to the league and seeing what's going on, it's just like, oh, there's this feud. And I don't fault any of the players individually. The rookies didn't ask for this. Caitlin Clark didn't ask for this. Angel Reese didn't ask for this. They just went on to be professional WNBA basketball players to play the game that they've loved growing up. And it grew into an issue bigger than basketball. And that's the big problem with all of this. And I think the issues here are the media does have a lot to say and they kind of add to the hate, right? The players themselves say a lot of quotes, and I'll read what Caitlin Clark said. She said, nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans. They are trolls. And they aren't fans because if you really understand and know the game, none of them would support any of this. But again, back to the media and people who are slightly watching what's going on, they're creating their own narratives that have nothing to do with the plot. Again, we've missed the plot. And is it a way to spew hate at Black women? Probably. And I don't want to make it, this has to be a race issue, but sometimes you have to look at race and gender to figure out why people are responding in the way that they do. And at the end of the day, this is a women dominated, especially Black women league. So a lot of the times, if you feel some type of way, especially certain comments, right? Certain comments you say, are going towards Black women. So when you say stuff like that, it's kind of hard not to think that's what it's about. Another prime example, Shannon Sharpe. We look up to Club Shay Shay to give us the truth, to say how he feels, to do his interviews. He's been on a big incline ever since that Cat Williams interview at the beginning of the year. He had a lot to say to what he calls haters. And it's crazy because, like I said, there's all this going on and people are just like, stop the hate, say how you feel about the situation, but let's not add to the destruction of the women in these sports. Shannon Sharpe said to a troll, I guess, who was asking him about his comments on the league, he told them, "Why are you on my page? Don't you have another horse to rob of his hair? Stop trying to kill my vibe." So the person that he responded to on Twitter was a profile picture of Megan Thee Stallion. Not knowing that it was a Meg picture, for him to say, "Don't you have another horse to rob of his hair?" That comment never gave. It's not giving. I don't know what compelled him to say that, but these are the comments that I'm talking about. When you have a large platform and you have people from all across the world listening to what you have to say, and that spewing hate is bad, especially specifically to Black women, then you make a comment about horsehair. What is that helping? What does that do for you? What do you gain? Nothing. Nothing at all. And that's the issue because, again, we, the media, control the narrative. If we are making comments like that, even me, right? I would never make a comment to tear down a man in general, right? I'm just not the type of person who's going to make sure that I make you feel like you need to be humbled, feel like you need to, act a certain way. I'm never going to do that because that's not in my character. I won't tear down a Black man. I won't tear down a white man. I won't tear down a Hispanic man. I don't care what you are. I'm not going to tear you down because that's not my character. I think that we should be uplifting each other and be positive. Now, I will give my sports takes. If you playing bad, you playing bad. If you cheeks, you cheeks. Like, I will let you know that. But as far as you as a person and the way that you are, I'm never going to fault somebody for that. So when you know that all this is going around and those are the comments that you decide to make, it's a problem. And it starts with the media because, again, we control the narrative. It's a lot to unpack, and I could say so much more. And I think that there's a lot of circulating conversations. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that the league does have each other. They've built this strong bond within the league, and they know what's going on. And the true WNBA fans know what's going on. There's always going to be a lot of trolls. The most that we can do is try to ignore it because people are going to say what they want to say regardless. I had to learn that quick and early and the hard way. People are going to feel a type of way about you regardless. But at the end of the day, if you know what your goal is and what you came here to do, that's all that matters. Okay, we're going to go to break, right? And when we return, we got to talk about this Cardi B and Offset mess because what is going on? Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So this Cardi B and Offset mess, I'm going to call it, are women allowed to get their lick back? So first of all, let's talk about what happened. Cardi B just welcomed her third child with Offset. They got married back in 2017, but things got real messy over an Instagram Live. This is what I be telling y'all. Social media be messing things up quick. So she started calling Offset out on live, which Cardi tends to do when she gets frustrated. She will say how she feels. So Offset decided to go to her comments and say, "You mess with another man with a baby inside, tell the truth." That's a real strong claim because messing with another man while you are pregnant is pretty crazy. So we're trying to figure out what happened. Cardi, did you do it? Did you not? She just went on Twitter, no context, and tweeted, "and did." Even though she said "and did," do I believe it? I don't know because that's a crazy statement. So they've been going back and forth. Basically, she's been saying, "Offset, I'm too good for you." Basically, Offset saying, "Cardi, you ain't shit." They're going back and forth. And then Offset decided to go in her comments and say, everybody can see I don't want you. It's okay. I'm not talking about this anymore. All love. You will be calling me after a couple months. You, my baby mama, I won. That's a diabolical statement. You're my baby mama, I won, because it's giving trap. But here's the thing, like, right? A lot of people are like, oh, Cardi, you should be ashamed of yourself. And granted, like, doing something with another man when you got a baby in your stomach is crazy. It's real crazy. I don't even like to mix those. Like, that should be definitely just kept within the household. But both of them, to me, get the blame for this situation, because bringing your personal issues online, and I can't even blame them, because celebrity relationships are very different from everyday relationships. And God bless everybody who is in a public relationship, because that's a lot to deal with. Everybody is waiting for your answer. Everybody wants to know the tea and watch it unfold. But at the end of the day, these are real people's lives, right? Like, even the fact that it's a topic, right? It's a topic because it's going on in entertainment, but this is something that they have to deal with every day. Meanwhile, Cardi B's at Paris Fashion Week, feuding with her baby daddy across social media, and the whole world is watching it unfold. That's a lot to deal with, especially when you just welcomed another child into this world. So, first thing that's a problem is it's really trying to figure out if Cardi B did mess with somebody while she was pregnant. I do kind of feel like she wanted to make Offset jealous, because let's not ignore the fact that she has shown that he's publicly cheated on her throughout most of their relationship. Is it a good thing? Not at all. Does it happen a lot? Yeah, we're seeing celebrities, rappers, athletes, people who live a very different lifestyle cheat a lot. And not even people that live a different lifestyle. It'd be everybody. Everybody be cheating nowadays, and I don't understand why, because I'm just not with it. I know you guys have probably seen that clip of Cam explaining cheating to me, talking about sometimes you just want a side of chips. Even if you got a whole filet mignon on your plate, sometimes you just want some chips. My brain can't even wrap around that, because I'm just a loyal person. But not everybody feels the same. So yes, Offset has been cheating on Cardi B continuously throughout the relationship. So she decided to say, you know what? And I'm not going to say she said it. She just said and did. But what's being said is that she cheated on him while she was pregnant with the baby, which is insane. And of course, that hurt Offset's feelings bad, because no man wants to hear that. But it's this back and forth. It's playing fire with fire. And that's exactly what they're doing. So do I think she did it? I don't know. Is it wrong if she did it? Yes. Is what Offset said wrong? Yeah, because please be careful and watch who y'all be having children with, because the fact that he said, you, my baby mama, I won, is insane. We don't like toxic. Can we please get rid of toxic in 2025? Because I'm over it. Can women get their lick back? Sure. The way you do it matters. Yes. Would I say that I got with another guy when I was pregnant? No. Would I do that? No. But can you make him a little mad? Maybe. It really depends on your situation and what you want to do. I just feel like you got to learn to talk things out as we get older, but it's harder to do that, especially with everybody's opinions being spewed at you on social media. But I just know either way, because it's been public, both of them look real goofy to get back with each other. But it's like, you want a good relationship at the end of the day for their children, but things happen. So hope they figure it out. Let me know in the comments what you guys feel about this situation, and do you believe women can get their lick back? Do you feel like Cardi B was wrong? Do you feel like what she did is okay because Offset cheated? Again, I let y'all know, I think either is not okay. I wouldn't do either of the two, but people act on emotion and they're going to do what they want to do regardless. And that's what happened with the both of them. Okay. Moving along, last topic before we wrap. We're just going to talk about the 3-0 NFL teams right now. And I'm going to talk about who I trust the most and just give a little bit of a breakdown before we close the show. So first, we're going to start with the Chiefs. Of course, I trust the Chiefs. Betting against the Chiefs is hard. They are going for their three-peat. They have phenomenal players. They have a good offense. Pat Mahomes, to me, is going to have a strong case for the greatest quarterback. I know there's Tom Brady still in the picture. Pat Mahomes did a lot that we haven't seen, and he's still going. He's young, so we have a lot to see from him. But Travis Kelce hasn't been where he should be. You know, the image, everything is on Travis Kelce, but he has a lot of other things going on. We know he got his podcast. We know he's with Taylor Swift. Now he's acting. I feel like I've seen this man do everything else. Does that mean he's not focused on football? I wouldn't say that, but he does have a lot of other things going on. Now, the Chiefs, although they have been winning, they kind of have a little bit of a slower start, but I think that they tend to pick up their momentum as the season progresses. I don't think they start full force at the beginning. They will be playing against the Chargers. The Chargers just have too many injuries for me to have complete trust on them winning the game. Chargers is a solid team, but right now against the Chiefs, I think that the Chiefs have this one. Next, we're going to talk about the Bills. The Bills previously was never one of my favorite teams, and I'm still not going to say they're one of my favorite teams because that's a strong word, but they are a strong team. You already know Josh Allen. He has a great arm, and he can run. The Bills, in general, have a great offense. They got James Cook. They got Dalton Kincaid. They are A1. Khalil Shakir, he caught all 14 of his targets in the previous games. They have a very solid build-up. Do I still see the Bills beating the Ravens? Yes. Will it be easy? No, but I think the Bills are legit. Next, we got the Seahawks. Seahawks are not the team we expected to be in this position. They kind of snuck up on us. Geno Smith has been doing this thing, but I still feel iffy about them because looking at their previous schedule, they barely won games that I felt like should have solidified the deal. They had a fairly easy schedule compared to other teams. The Seahawks beat the Patriots 23-20 in overtime. I felt like that should have been an easy game. The fact that it even went to overtime to me is crazy, but things happen. And then beating the Broncos 26-20 with rookie quarterback Bo Nix. Now, don't get me wrong, Bo Nix is legit. He has a lot to build upon. To me, he's looking even better than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has been struggling and scrambling all over the place. Bo Nix is looking a lot more solidified. But the fact that that was still a close game still makes me worry a little bit. They do play the Lions on Monday. This will be a tough game. Do I think the Seahawks will win? I feel like this might be that game that they lose. And I'm not rooting against them, but I'm just looking realistically at what I think will happen. And I think this is going to be the game that the Lions take. Now we got the Vikings, right? Sam Darnold so far has been proving everybody wrong. You know, he's that statistic that they said that 0.001%, that is him. We didn't expect them to get this far. But at the end of the day, the Vikings have a great defense, right? They're physical and versatile, and Brian Flores is floresing, okay? He's doing his little thing. So they've been doing pretty good. They actually rank 4th in the NFL in both scoring and overall offensive efficiency. They will play the Packers. Again, don't have much update with Jordan Love. The Packers trying to hold it down, but I do see the Vikings winning this game. If they lose, it does have us look at them a little bit differently. And the last team we're going to talk about is, of course, the Steelers. The Steelers got us this far, and I don't know how. I'm not going to lie, okay? We always find a way in an interesting way. I think that Justin Fields is doing great. Like I said previously, he was viewed as a game manager, and he kind of solidified that he's not just a game manager. He can make some passes, and he can be good in the pocket if he wants to be. And the greatest thing about it is even if Justin Fields starts declining, we still have Russell Wilson as an option, okay? The entire quarterback room is making $5.6 million. That's chump change. And none of them are in contract past March. So the way that works psychologically, if there's 2 quarterbacks, you know you're not getting paid a lot, and then you know that you have the opportunity to be released after March, they are securing their spots, right? So they're playing their asses off. I think a lot of the times what we've seen is these quarterbacks who get these big-ass contracts, they get a lot of money, they kind of slack off a little bit. And I'm not going to say it's intentional, but I mean, we've seen Trevor Lawrence. We've seen Joe Burrow. We've seen people with big contracts. Jordan Love, yes, he got hurt. That wasn't his problem. Even Dak Prescott, okay, highest paid right now. They can slack off a little bit because at the end of the day, their spot is secured. And again, it's not intentional. I know they want to win, but they know that they're good. Justin Fields has a hell of a lot to prove right now. And so does Russell Wilson once he gets back on the field. So I think it's putting them in a good situation. Of course, our defense is great. It's one of the best in the leagues currently. They've been running the ball. They have a lot of physicality. They're 11th in the league in rushing, but 2nd in attempts. And they're showing that defense and a power running game works. Back to the traditional football terms, defense wins championships, and they are using that to the highest degree. Okay, the Steelers are still tied for last in red zone scoring touchdowns on just 25% of their red zone trips. They could work on their red zone scoring, which they will. Again, they're still building a lot from the ground up. We got great defense. We got Justin Fields doing his thing. Our offense isn't too shabby. We got George Pickens making catches. We have a good situation going on right now, so I'm not mad at what's happening. Next, we play the Colts. Shout out to the Colts for trying their best. I think Anthony Richardson still has a lot to work on. He hasn't really played that many games. Granted, he had an injury, and he didn't play too much in college. He played a couple of those games. Still has a lot to work on. Their offense is working on it. So I think the Steelers are going to win this game, which puts them at 4-0, which is crazy to think that this is how they started the season because a lot of people didn't expect it. A lot of people thought it was going to be a quarterback issue, and they have been proving everybody wrong so far. So that's my analysis. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Know we covered a lot of topics today, but hopefully you guys learned something. Would love to know you guys' thoughts. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you follow the account. Check out the stat. If you don't want to follow, check out the stat. Follow my main Instagram at Treasure Wilson because you'll end up seeing both content. Anyways, but that's it for today's episode. Y'all can hashtag check out the stat so we can continue the discussion next week. Maybe your question, take, or topic will be featured. Thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the stats. I'll see y'all next week.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.